Welcome to Caching Waves. This is your Elliott Wave update for FLR. I got a couple of questions in the comments about on the larger trend, like where are we going next? Now I can't pinpoint those targets for you, so you're aware, until we get pivots in that we can get extensions off of. So I'm out on the 4-hour chart and I have this labeled as a diagonal to the upside currently, and we're currently on wave 4 of that diagonal. Now, important areas to keep in mind is this previous order block. We want to hold above to keep this count intact. Now we can come through it briefly, but we'd want to see a fast recovery, like for example this wave 2. Peek through it quickly, recover that, and reclaim that level very quickly, something like that. But ideally at this point, since we've made a higher high than the third in the middle of our B wave, of the fourth wave, we'd actually expect to protect this A wave low, so not even revisit this area. That would be ideal, just ideal. All right, I'm gonna go on the lower time frames here and catch everyone up on this fourth wave. Last video, if you watched, I was looking for this move to the downside, which we got. We've been tracking this one very nicely. First, we were expecting this move, then we were expecting this move, then we were expecting this move. So pretty much nailing the count so far on FLR. So it looks like we are on the right track at the moment. Now, a few different options here that could be happening. I'm not currently in this trade. I took my profit at the 1-to-1 of this original extension. But because there's so much that can happen in this B of a B wave, I'm not touching it at this moment unless we come up to my expanded area. I'm only interested in a long if we make the move to the downside here, or a short if we come up to the B zone, because I have very clear areas where my stop will be, and I'll explain that to you in a moment. But as of right now, you know I like to use time, and we can use that now just to track this at the moment. So we take our A wave within the B wave, put on our 618 and our 1-to-1, which is right here. You can see, let me get rid of this 382 for the moment. Make that red. So looking for this B to pivot around this zone here. Now it can just continue to the upside, but that's why I'm not trading, because there's too much that can happen in this area. But ideally what I'd like to see is a 3-wave move down to this B wave, break the 70% retracement of this level, to consider this a flat, where we'd expect 5 waves to the upside, and then get our C wave to the downside to complete our 4th wave. Now, if we don't reach the 70%, nothing says we have to, and we just come up, grind down to the 618, then I would expect 3 waves here and not 5. Reason being, a flat has to reach at least 70% retracement, and that's just a small thing that some people don't pay attention to. I'd be expecting a 3 wave rather than a 5. So we'll see what we get here. But if we make this move to the upside and we come between my 1.236 and 1.382 extension of this A wave to the upside, I'll probably enter a short as a scalp within this area, and my invalidation will be past the 1.618, because then it's likely no longer a B wave and it's something else. And I'll be targeting the 1-to-1 extension of this A wave whenever that B wave ends. So if we come right between the 236 and the 382, my setup would be something like that, just over a 2-to-1, nice little risk reward. So not interested until either we come down to this zone, in which case I'll look for a long trade like so, stop at the previous A wave, and then I would be targeting the 1-to-1 extension of this A wave whenever that pivot is in. So you can see kind of how you go both ways. It's just when the correction is complete where I'm interested. But you can see we're absolutely in no man's land right now, so there's no point trying to force a trade here. So I'm going to wait for this, and on our larger term view, once we get our B wave in, looking for the C wave to the downside. We've made a new high, so expect to protect this low. And for our larger term trade, eventually something like this, targeting our fifth. But I'll have those exact targets. I just have a range right now, which is between 4.292 and 4.916. It's just a range though. We can't pinpoint that until we actually get that C wave. That C wave for our fourth. It could be higher, it could be lower. This is just a placeholder at the moment. And one other thing, another reason why I don't just hop into a trade here and say, is that short's coming? Because that could actually be our B wave high. And we're going to make some crazy extended long C wave similar to this area, where our X was here, and then we made a zigzag there and a super long B wave, something like that. We could just come down here on the smaller time frame and just drift, and then finally spike down, right? And then go off. So not interested at these areas to enter a trade. I will be interested in if we come down for this B for a long, just for a scalp up to this area. And I will be interested in a short if we come up between this B zone, stop at the 618, targeting the 1-to-1 of this A wave. So those are the areas I am interested currently. I will make sure to update this as I enter into a trade, and I'll update you guys. So if you want to follow along, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.